Hey guys, welcome to today's daily premium newsletter for January 29th. The choppy period that we expected after the crash 2 weeks ago is still ongoing, as most of the large caps are trading sideways after the low hit mid-month. That said, the broad declining trend in the segment is clearly intact, and the continuation of the correction is still the most likely outcome, even as the long-term charts are looking more and more constructive. Historically, January has always been a weak month for crypto, and 2018 has been no exception. However, the same behavior does not hold true for stocks because the Hong Kong and Chinese markets have been among the top performers. The equity markets are outperforming the crypto markets, at least in the first month of the year. With only a couple days left in January, it remains to be seen if the fortunes of the large cryptocurrencies will take a turn in February. Today it was revealed an ICO named Protium exited with investors' money and left a single expletive word on their website. Compounding the bad ICO news today, it's being reported that a hacker stole $150,000 worth of Ethereum from the Xperty ICO. Apparently, a leaked database equipped the hacker to attack potential investors with a classic phishing tactic. As we mentioned in this weekend's webinar course, always do your research before investing in a coin, especially when it comes to ICOs. According to Fortune, up to 10% of all money raised by ICOs between 2015 and 2017 was either lost in the crypto ether or stolen in hacks, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 million. In their haste to attract investors, companies launching blockchain services often overlook the necessary security precautions needed to protect themselves and investors buying their tokens. Ernst & Young's report states that over $3.7 billion was raised by 372 ICOs during that time period. That is a massive amount of money for startup offerings, and it's hardly surprising that hackers are looking for soft targets. The report states that large ICOs are deemed to be soft targets for seasoned hackers. Thanks again for everyone who showed up for this weekend's course. I'll turn it over to Doc.
Hey guys, it's Doc for Ready Set Crypto for Monday, January 29th. One of the questions that I get quite often is from people that just subscribe to us and they say, hey, nice portfolio. How do I apply this? So how do I get into these coins that have already made such a big gain? So how can I participate in these? And that's a really good question. So the one thing I would say, first of all, is let's get rid of this notion of trying to buy something that's heading lower. Now, there's a whole culture around buying the dip, right? So there's a difference between buying the dip versus buying something in a downtrend. That's what you want to avoid. So if you look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin is heading higher. Here's the dip that gets bought, but that leads to a lower high. So right now, Bitcoin is heading lower. You don't want to catch the falling knife. Let me show you a simple trick on how to avoid catching the falling knife. You go over here to the weekly chart and you look at Bitcoin and you say, is this heading higher or is this heading lower? Well, a simple look at this and you can see that Bitcoin is throwing a lot of red weekly candles. This is heading lower right now, at least in the short term. Maybe it'll head higher later. Maybe it won't. We don't know. We're not here to predict the future. We're just simply here to trade what's in front of us. And right now, unfortunately, Bitcoin, the big dog here, is still throwing off lower highs and lower lows. It's going through a torturous bottoming process right now, which is pulling in a lot of people, either the ones that bought in December up at the highs and they're trying to figure out what to do, or it's pulling in some people trying to buy the dip down at the bottom at $10,000 and they keep getting stopped out and stopped out. This is what's going to happen, and this is why these lows are so torturous. So part of the problem is you're trying to buy something that's trending lower, and you're looking for a bottom there. So this is, again, catching the falling knife type of trade. Now, what I want you to do is to compare this chart of Bitcoin versus Ethereum. So let's look at Ethereum. I think you can see the difference here. This one is currently heading higher. We can confirm that by looking at the weekly chart, and we say, oh, well, this is clearly heading higher. Now, keep in mind that this could turn into a lower high, and we can start to see Ethereum lower, although this is a nice breakout here. This is a really nice breakout. Okay, so from here, big dip, and then higher low, higher high. Right now, it's trending higher in the short term. What I also like about this is it's building up energy again. So this is the CHOP index, and we don't want to be chasing things that are exhausted on the fuel tank to the upside, right? We don't want to chase things that are exhausted. We want to look for periods where it's built up a lot of energy and is ready to go. This is when it builds up a lot of energy and breaks out. So far we're getting very close to what might be a nice potential breakout on Ethereum. You can see the same thing happening here with NEO. So if we look at NEO, we have a little bit of a lower high. This is another significant higher low, and it's heading higher. It's broken above this high and is very strong right now. So if we look at NEO on a weekly chart, let's see this on a weekly chart. Hey, it's heading higher. Bunch of green candles, right? So this is an easy filter. Don't go for this whole buy the dip philosophy on something that's trending lower. You get yourself into trouble doing that. So pick things that are heading higher and then look for heavy consolidation, high levels of energy. This is going to fuel the next ride up on something moving higher. Here's another one that I like, and as featured in our portfolio, we've actually re-added to this one. This is Icon. So Icon, this is a terrific pattern. And looking at the weekly chart now, this is going to be a little different now because we don't have that many weeks of data. It's just been the past few weeks. But look at this, all green candles on the weekly chart, all green candles. Which way is this one heading? It's heading higher. We're not trying to buy the dip on something that's trending lower. We're not trying to catch the falling knife. This one is consolidating at the highs, tremendous amount of potential energy. This is a good example of something that you can buy inside of this pattern and still have a fairly high confidence that you're not necessarily buying the highs. This one is doing very, very well. And I'll finish out with Walton Chain here. So again, Walton Chain. So I'm not going to go through the top 10 coin analysis right now because there's so many of them that are being kind of along for the ride with Bitcoin that are just trying to pound out a low, Meanwhile, we've got coins like the ones that I'm featuring here that are just exploding. So Walton Chain is a little bit exhausted at this point, and I would expect to see some consolidation here. And this is going to be, once this builds up energy and consolidates in this level. Now, what I want to see from this, and it may not do it, right? But what I want to see from here is a nice flag where it's just building up energy with a nice little flag pattern here, and you'll see the CHOP index drive higher up into this area, and that's going to be an excellent add area if you're not already into Walton Chain. That should support a breakout to the upside. Again, we don't predict the future, we just look for probabilities, and flag patterns like this have a high probability of an upside breakout. They go from whence they came. I'm going to finish out my portion of the video here today with a shot of Evernote. Now, Evernote is a cloud-based journaling program, or pretty much whatever you want. It's a knowledge management program in my world. And just a couple of words here. We went over this in the class this weekend, the Introduction to Cryptocurrency Trading. So I showed this, and there was a lot of people that said, hey, could you talk a little bit more about how to use that? And so here we are today. Now, Evernote, what you can do is it's a way, it's just kind of a knowledge management. It's a way to trap things. It's a cloud storage. It does so many different things. You can take notes on it. You can create things with it. You can take pictures with it. And so what's really important here is you can tag everything. So what happens during the day is you come across all types of information and you can't process it in that very second. What I will do is I will tend to just grab it, copy it off the page, throw it into an Evernote page, and then I've got it. Now, the important thing that I do is I tag it after that. So you can see here, this is a trade journal entry. So this is, let's see if I can pronounce it right, OMIZIGO, and OMG, for those of you that just want the ticker. So I did an entry on OMIZIGO yesterday, and actually I was amazed that it only took about 10 minutes to get the Litecoin across to Binance and execute this transaction. So it was great. So I wanted to capture a record of this trade. So I just did a screenshot of the chart here, and I did a bit of little entry logic. And what is my exit? My exit on this case is the old Viking funeral approach, fixed risk to $500. So that is what I'm putting into the trade. It can go to zero for all I care, because I just want to let it realize its potential, which is the open end of this triangle here. So upside breakout is what I'm looking for as far as a target on OMIZIGO. So you can see this, I've got a whole trading notebook here. All of these are just example trades that I've done. So whether it's into cryptocurrency, whether it's futures trading, options trading, stock, whatever it is, I've got a journal entry for those so I can go back and very, very quickly look at that trade and say, what was I thinking on that trade, or what was I doing, or let's close out that trade and let's finish out the journal entry because I closed the position today. So that is my trading notebook. So all of these are just trade journals, but I do have a separate notebook here for anything that's business or personal related. I mean, one example here, just to give you an idea of what you can do with this, is here's a bathroom renovation that I did a year or two ago. And so you can take pictures of this and just drop them into there as sort of a record for any work that you're doing. So there's so many different ways that you could apply this. This is just, Evernote is just a great way to take notes, a great way to journal things, a great way to organize things as well too. You can see here in this case, I've got the notebook, this is a bathroom tag and this is a house tag. I mean, I could go through any of these things, and there's just different ways to organize your information. It's really kind of your left brain on steroids so that you can use your brain for processing and not storage. Okay, guys, hope that helps. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in tomorrow's report.